Hi, welcome to our channel. This is second video session on AWS Lambda series. In this, we will explore AWS Lambda key consideration and limit, Lambda configurations at a glance, and Lambda pricing overview. If you missed the first session on Lambda 101, please click the link in description to check it out. Let us understand the key considerations and limits of AWS Lambda. Execution time. Lambda functions are short-lived. The function can execute for a maximum of 15 minutes, which makes Lambda functions are suitable for processes that take short time to complete, and it is not suitable for long-running workload. Memory capacity. The processing power of a Lambda function depends on how much memory is allocated to it. Minimum memory allocation is 128 MB, and it can be extended until 10 GB in an increment of 1 MB. Lambda allocates CPU in proportion to memory. Concurrent execution. By default, Lambda provides a total concurrent limit of 1000 at the account level across all functions in a region. This can be increased by placing a quota increase request. So this is a soft limit. Storage. So Lambda function is allocated with 512 MB of ephemeral storage by default. This can be increased up to 10 GB. So let us take a look at key configurations of AWS Lambda function. Let us navigate to Lambda console and create a sample function. Click create function and select author from scratch and give a name and select the runtime from various available options. For this, I'll go with Python 3.7 and architecture, I'll leave it default and permissions. I'm going to select the role which we created in the previous video. And advanced settings, I'm leaving it to default. We will talk about it in the upcoming videos. Hit create function. All right. So in this screen, what we get to see on the top is an overview of the function. It has three elements: um, triggers, destinations, and the layers. So triggers are the AWS services or other resources that invoke the function. Destinations are the AWS resources that receive a record of a function invocation after success or failure of the function. So layers are resources that contain libraries, runtime, and dependencies. It helps to separate the function code from its dependencies. So let's click on add trigger and see what are the different options available. Under trigger configurations, we can see APIs or interactive or web sort of triggers, API gateway, load balancers, and so on and so forth. And batch or bulk data processing, we can see S3, SNS, SQS are some of the important triggers. And in the real time and streaming, we can see Apache Kafka, DynamoDB, Kinesis, MQ, and MSK, right? And we also have lot of other partner provided triggers through an Amazon Event Bridge. Okay. And destination, we have four options wherein we can send the function invocation record to SNS topic, SQS queue, Lambda function. The last one is event bridge, event bus. So with this, we will be able to trigger another Lambda function based on the result of this Lambda function. So that's the use if you send the response to another Lambda function. So little down, so we have various tabs. So first tab is a code. It provides an ID like environment to author the code and deploy. It is also possible to upload the zip file from the local or specify a script location from Amazon S3. So once you have authored the code and tested, we can go ahead and deploy from this um, place itself. And next important tab we are going to take a look at is the configuration tab. Under this, let's take a look at general config. Let's hit edit. So this is the place where we specify how much memory the function should get allocated. By default, it's set to 128 MB. We can go ahead and increment it um, by 1 MB, and the maximum it can take will be 10 GB. Right? I can go ahead and increment it in terms of 1 MB blocks. And so this is what defines the the capacity of the function, right? So CPU get auto allocated in proportion to what memory we set here. The second one is an ephemeral storage. By default, it comes with 512 MB, and we can go ahead and increment it until 10 GB in a block of 1 MB. The third one is timeout. We can set it until 15 minutes. So if you specify anything more than 15 minutes, it will not accept. So let's say your function is expected to run for 30 seconds. You can probably, set it to 35 seconds. Sorry, it's not 0, 35 seconds. In case your function continue to run after 35 seconds, it will basically time out. It will terminate your function execution. That's the purpose of setting the timeout. The next one where we can go ahead and choose the execution role, which we have already done it during the creation of the function. Okay. The next key tab here is triggers, where we can go ahead and add a trigger how this function will get triggered. So we have already seen various options available to trigger the Lambda function. And then permissions, the role which we selected during the creation of the function appears here, which also displays, right, what are the resources this function has access to. In case if you want to add and modify the permissions, we can go ahead and do so from this particular page. Destinations. So here we can go and specify the function invocation record to direct it to any of the available four destination, either SNS, SQS, Lambda function, or an event bridge, event bus. So there are various other configurations available here, but whatever we discussed so far are the key. We will continue with the rest of the configurations in the upcoming video. Not to complicate too much at this stage. So next tab we will look at will be the test. Let's say you want to run the function without really having a trigger. We can go ahead and create the test event and then just say test, right? So whatever the payload you specify under the event JSON will get passed on to the function, and function will get invoked. So this is merely for the testing purpose. We can use this. And under monitor, so we have various other CloudWatch metrics that we can use to monitor the function, like invocations and error count and throttles and so on and so forth. And if you want to see the detailed log of your function execution, we can navigate to view CloudWatch logs from here. Okay, so those are the some of the key configurations we need to be aware about when we start creating the Lambda function. So there are some advanced configurations. We will talk about it as we move towards the more complicated scenarios and advanced use cases. For now, this is good for us to get started with Lambda. AWS Lambda pricing overview. AWS Lambda is built primarily based on the number of requests per month, duration of the function runtime in GB second, and then ephemeral storage used in GB second. In addition to that, billing may also include HTTP response streams and any data transfers involved. To make it simple, let us focus only on the primary pricing drivers for our discussion. AWS offers following free tier quota even after first year of free tier for AWS Lambda. First one is 1 million requests per month is free. Second one, 0.4 million GB seconds of compute per month is free, and 512 MB of storage, ephemeral storage per function is free. Let us take a look at one of the example for pricing. So wherein our function is getting called 6 million times per month, and the average function execution duration is 280 milliseconds, and we have configured a memory of 4096 MB or 4 GBs. And the function is configured with the ephemeral storage of 2048 MB or 2 GBs. So now let us look at and calculate the price for each of the driver. First one is the number of requests per month. So requests are charged at $0.2 per 1 million requests. We have free tier of 1 million requests per month. So with that, overall we have 6 million requests, and subtract 1 million requests for free tier, and net we are having 5 million billable requests. So monthly request charge is going to be 5 million into zero point 0.2, going to be $1. The second driver is compute. So Lambda compute is charged at point not 16667 dollars per GB second, and we have a free tier of 400k GB seconds. So the total compute seconds for our scenario going to be 6 million in 280 milliseconds, which comes around 1.68 million seconds. And total compute GB seconds, so 1.68 million into 4096. Since we have allocated 4096 MB of memory and divide by 1024 to make it 2 GBs, it's going to be 6.72 million GB seconds. And we have free tier of 400k. If you subtract that from the 6.72 million, and we have billable GB seconds of 6.32 GB second, and you multiply that with the price per GB second, and it comes to $105.33. The third driver is the ephemeral storage, and it is priced at this 0.0000309 per GB second, and we have free tier of 512 MB per function. So total compute second going to be 6 million into 280 milliseconds, which is 1.68 million seconds. And billable storage going to be 2048, which we allocated, and minus 512 MB, which comes to 1536 MB effective. And storage GB seconds going to be 1.68 million into 1536 divide by 1024 to make it 2 GBs, and we have 2.52 million GB seconds from the storage standpoint. So if you multiply that with the storage price here, which comes around $0.08. So overall charges for this Lambda function for a month going to be um, the request charges, which is going to be $1, and the compute charges, which are about $105.33, and then the ephemeral storage charges, which are about $0.08 dollars. Add all together, which comes to $106.41 per month. Hope this example have given you a fair idea of how AWS Lambda is priced. And similarly, if you have various other scenarios, you can apply the concept and calculate the pricing for your function. With that, we have come to an end of this video. Hope this was useful to get started with Lambda. We will meet you again with the next topic in AWS Lambda. Thanks for watching.